The Catholic world mourned as news spread of Pope Francis's death on April 21, 2025. Cardinal Kevin Farrell, the Camerlengo of the Holy Roman Church, assumed responsibility for the temporal affairs of the Church. His solemn duty was to confirm the Pope's death and oversee the destruction of the Ring of the Fisherman, symbolizing the end of Pope Francis's reign. The Vatican, the heart of the Catholic Church, was shrouded in a somber atmosphere. Pope Francis's private apartments were sealed and most department heads within the Vatican Curia tendered their resignations. As the Church and the world mourned, preparations for a papal funeral commenced, marking the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the Catholic Church. The world watched as the Catholic Church bid farewell to Pope Francis, a figure who had captivated hearts with his humility and compassion. The funeral rites, simplified in 2024 per Francis's own wishes, were a testament to his commitment to humility and simplicity. A solemn requiem mass was held in St. Peter's Square, the vast piazza able to accommodate the multitude who flocked to pay their respects. The air was thick with the scent of incense and the sound of mournful hymns as the cardinals, clad in their crimson vestments, led the procession. Following the Mass, Pope Francis was laid to rest in the Basilica of St. Mary Major, a place of special significance due to its proximity to a venerated icon of the Madonna. He was interred in a simple wooden casket, a poignant reminder of his belief in the equality of all souls before God. The conclusion of the funeral marked the end of the official mourning period and the beginning of the preparations for the conclave. With the funeral rites completed, attention turned towards the upcoming conclave. Cardinals from around the globe, summoned to Rome, began to convene for general congregations. These meetings, held in the days leading up to the conclave, provided a crucial platform for the cardinals to discuss the state of the Church and the qualities they sought in the next pope. The weight of their responsibility was immense. They were tasked with choosing a leader who could navigate a complex and rapidly changing world. Cardinals over the age of 80, though ineligible to vote, were invited to participate in the general congregations. As the general congregations progressed, a clearer picture of the potential candidates for the papacy began to emerge. Following the 15-day mourning period, the cardinals prepared to enter the conclave, a centuries-old tradition shrouded in secrecy and ritual. Their destination, the Sistine Chapel, renowned for its breathtaking Michelangelo frescoes, transformed into a solemn chamber of election. Cut off from the outside world, the cardinal electors took up residence in the Santa Marta guest house within the Vatican walls. Twice a day, the cardinals processed into the Sistine Chapel to cast their votes, each man guided by his conscience and the Holy Spirit. The ballots, inscribed with the Latin phrase "Eligo in summum pontificem," I elect as supreme pontiff, were carefully counted and then burned in a special stove. Black smoke billowing from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel signaled an inconclusive vote. The world watched and waited, anticipating the white smoke that would herald the election of a new pope. A two-thirds majority plus one was required to ascend to the throne of St. Peter. As the conclave commenced, speculation swirled around the potential successors to Pope Francis. Several leading candidates emerged, each embodying unique strengths and weaknesses. Cardinal Matteo Zuppi, the 69-year-old Archbishop of Bologna, emerged as a frontrunner. Known for his peace-building efforts, particularly his mediation in Mozambique and his role as papal envoy for peace between Ukraine and Russia, Zuppi embodied the pastoral approach championed by Pope Francis. His close connection to the Sant'Egidio community, renowned for its work with the poor and marginalized, further solidified his image as a compassionate and grounded leader. Another prominent contender was Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the 70-year-old Vatican Secretary of State. With his extensive experience in the diplomatic corps, Parolin represented a more traditional choice. His deep understanding of Vatican diplomacy and his role in navigating complex geopolitical situations made him a formidable candidate. Representing a more conservative wing of the Church was Cardinal Peter Erdo, the 72-year-old Archbishop of Esztergom, Budapest. A respected canon lawyer, Erdo's views on issues such as immigration and family values differed from those of Pope Francis. Finally, the charismatic Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, the 67-year-old Archbishop of Manila, captured the imagination of many. the conclave remained a tightly guarded secret, leaving the world to ponder which of these men, or perhaps a dark horse candidate, would emerge as the next leader of the Catholic Church. Whoever succeeded Pope Francis inherited a church grappling with a myriad of challenges and opportunities. The new pontiff would need to balance calls for reform with the Church's rich traditions, navigating a world increasingly skeptical of institutional authority. One of the most pressing issues facing the new pope was the ongoing decline in church attendance, particularly in the West. Secularism continued to rise, leading many, especially young people, to question the relevance of faith in their lives. Simultaneously, the Church experienced significant growth in Africa and Asia, regions where traditional values and religious faith remained strong. This shifting center of gravity within the Church presented both opportunities and challenges. Beyond these internal challenges, the next pope would need to address global issues such as poverty, climate change, and religious persecution. The next pope would inherit a church grappling with complex internal issues, requiring careful navigation and a steady hand. Among the most pressing were the ongoing calls for greater inclusion and dialogue, particularly concerning LGBTQ+ Catholics and the role of women in the church. The debate surrounding LGBTQ+ inclusion remained a source of tension within the church. Pope Francis, while upholding traditional teachings on marriage, had also called for greater compassion and understanding towards LGBTQ+ individuals. Similarly, the question of women's roles in the church continued to spark debate. While Pope Francis had appointed more women to leadership positions within the Vatican, the issue of women's ordination remained a point of contention. Another significant challenge was the issue of clerical sexual abuse. The next pope would need to demonstrate unwavering commitment to transparency, accountability, and justice in addressing this dark chapter in the Church's history. Pope Francis left an indelible mark on the Catholic Church, his papacy characterized by humility, compassion, and a commitment to social justice. His successor would inherit a church deeply shaped by his papacy, tasked with building upon the foundation of change he had laid. Francis's emphasis on mercy and outreach to the peripheries resonated deeply within the church. His simple lifestyle, his focus on the poor and marginalized, and his willingness to engage in dialogue with those holding different views challenged traditional notions of papal authority. One of Francis's most significant legacies was his focus on environmental stewardship. His encyclical Laudato Si galvanized Catholics and people of all faiths to care for creation. The next pope would need to continue this momentum, advocating for environmental justice and sustainable living on both the local and global levels. The world watched with bated breath as the conclave unfolded, aware that the decisions made within the confines of the Sistine Chapel would resonate far beyond the Vatican walls. The election of a new pope was not merely an internal church matter, but a global event with the potential to shape the future of Catholicism for generations to come. The next pope would inherit a church facing unprecedented challenges, from internal divisions to external pressures. He would need to navigate a rapidly changing world, grappling with issues such as secularism, globalization, and technological advancements. The decisions he made, the tone he set, and the priorities he established would have a profound impact on the lives of over 1 billion Catholics worldwide. Despite its internal struggles and external criticisms, the Church remained a beacon of hope for millions, offering spiritual guidance, moral clarity, and a sense of community in an increasingly fragmented world. As white smoke eventually billowed from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, the world waited with anticipation, eager to witness the unfolding of a new chapter in the story of the Catholic Church.